it's Teresa and Richard back at you today. And the reason it's both of us is because we got something really cool in the mail today, or I got something really cool in the mail a couple of days ago. So this is from, his name is Lawrence. He is out of Ponca City, Oklahoma. And he did this, it's a 3D pin holder. And sorry, Lawrence, but everybody's already stole all my pins out of this. I can't find one of them. But this is really cool, guys. If y'all can look at this, it says Precision Transmissions, Amarillo, Texas, and then it says Scotch Brite is your friend. And it's a transmission. I love it. Thank you so much. You do not know how much this, I appreciate it, because the guys thought this was for them, and then they was like, oh no, it says Teresa. But
Pretty
thank
cool.
you. Appreciate y'all. And so now we got to switch because I got a video, guys.
And I got to get back to work.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys, this is Richard back at you. Thank you for filming, Teresa. Hey, we got James. It's 2001 Chevy 2500 four-wheel drive here. It's got a 480E in it. It had no coats at all in it when it come in. Fluid just really, really dark. So we're going to be going through the transmission. I'm not sure about the transfer case yet. We'll find about it later. So let's get this thing apart real quick.
Oh, and thanks, Trent, for videoing for
Oh, thanks, Trent. Yes. So what we got here is we got our input speed sensor. And we're going to have a dummy here. Make sure you don't get these mixed up and plug the wires. Some of them do have dual sensors. You don't want to put it like this. You want to make sure you keep it like that. So, now this is a later version. It's got the rear lube in the back where the cooler line's in the very back of it. Now it's going to have a snout on it that screws in, goes all the way into the center support for your lube oil to lubricate the tranny front to rear. Now this one is different. It's a little shorter. They will not interchange. I showed one last time in our last video. This was screwing a little bit and stop. Stop. So if you put this one in here like that and put this one in, this in here will burn the tranny up because it's got to have that tube. So. Now they do make different converters here. You know, I'll get it real quick and show you. Now this is a B81 style torque converter. These are really heavy, so. But if you look, see how this is flat here, and see how this has a big dimple. These converters will interchange. So. Now this, see how this is a little bit higher stall here, but if you come over here, this is about the same through here. See, so, but these will interchange. This will be the converter we put back in here. Okay, you get over here, we have no fluid in the connector. A little bit maybe starting to appear in there. So that harness has to be replaced. Looks like this thing came from Oklahoma, huh? Did it? Does it have it?
I'm not sure.
We have red dirt in Texas too, but we see it more in Oklahoma. We always think of it that way anyway. Red dirt, Oklahoma. Okay. Excuse me, Chase, let me get my hammer over here. Excuse me. Curious to see what this looks like. Hopefully there's nothing in the pan. Looks really good. So, hopefully no hard parts, but man, most of the time I can always find something. Got a late model filter, got the little steps on it here that keeps it off the bottom of the pan. That way you can't plug this off. Now we had them come in here. You can see how hard it sucks still. This, if you look at this pan, it's got a dip in it like this. It's bent forward or inward like somebody smashed it right here. So if you look here, you can see where it was sucking really hard on that suction right there. You can see the stain of it. So if you put these in with a floor jack or anything like that, you're causing a major problem. So a floor jack is not your friend. Scotch-Brite is. So now we got our pressure control solenoid here. We got our PWM solenoid here. Now we'll be putting a Sonex valve here. They give you two different springs for different firmness. You got your stock lock-up feel, or you got your a little heavy-dutier feel to it. We put all the Sonex parts in these that we can get. I mean, every training we do, we just Sonex them to death. We transgo them to death. That way we know that this tranny is the best that we can supply to the customer. So. And we have our lube tube here. Get this harness out of the way, you can kind of see it a little bit better. This tube right here. The earlier versions had a hole here and had a big old tube that come back here all the way to here and went back there and lubricated the case bushing and the tail housing bushing if it was a two-wheel drive. But this is a later version. They changed it and they come off the back of the manual valve through here and do it that way. So and we're going to get our, this is our park detent spring here. When you move your shifter, you're going to get this detent. Get all of our 10 millimeter bolts out of here.
Something wrong.
And we're going to stop our little fluid drain here. The autopsy table's working really good today for us.
GLOVES.
Oh. Teresa, I'm sorry. Okay. Let me wipe my hands off really quick, guys. I forgot to put my gloves on again. Old school, we got excited. Teresa got me walking in here quick, wanting to talk about her little present. I didn't put my gloves on. Let me walk back here and get them real quick. It's Teresa's fault, not mine. We were all excited. Get in here really quick. Look, that is a nice transmission pin holder. Definitely, huh? That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we have our two shift solenoids here. They are different. The bracket's different. They will not change from side to side, and the plugs are different too. So we have our pillow switch here. Like I said, these little micro switches right here, fluid comes in and pushes on them, they click.
I can hear it.
You can hear that?
Mm-hmm.
So These are rebuildable. You can get kits for them, but it's cheaper just to replace them. They're really cheap. They do take an 8mm bolt too, but your valve body takes a 10. You can see the difference. Trying to move these away from my tools real quick, get them over here in the pan. And then we're going to pull our valve body off. Now on these valve body plates, you want to look up for wear. You'll see it right through here. You'll see the wear here. But this plate's still in really good shape. Really good shape. But if you want to make this thing shift a little bit firmer, it don't take much work to make a 480E shift firmer. So just a few hole modifications, stuff like that. Get you a good SK kit, Transgo kit. Got your accumulator springs here, one short, one long. Always just remember the long one goes to the right. You can put them that way, but long to the right. And you have your 8mm bolts. I'll leave that plugged in a little bit. You can see these plastic accumulators. We don't see very many problems with them. If the tranny comes in really melted, converter failure, we see these things totally melted out of there, just look like teardrops. So, but these look really good shape. You always want a Scotch-Brite here. That way that piston accumulator slides up and down the bore really nice. If you just don't Scotch-Brite them, that thing will squeak. It'll kind of go, If you put Scotch-Brite it, it just gives it a smooth surface to slide on with the oil. So, see if I can get this off here. There we go. This fluid looks... Now we have our Pwm valve right here. If you see here, it's got the factory yellow spring. Got the metal valve. Now Sonex comes out with a coated valve and a ring that goes here to fix any wear in the bores. And then it'll come with two different springs. If you notice here, this is some old paperwork because this doesn't come with instructions really. If you look here for OEM shift feel, select the heavier spring. So you'll want to put the heavier spring for the OEM feel and the lighter spring for the firmer feel. So get that picked up off there. Now when you put that ring in the groove, you have to put some grease in it, try to shrink it because it is kind of hard to get in there. But it can be done. Now you pull this roll pin out right here, put it in there, and then put the roll pin back in. So makes lockup night and day difference, guys. Now we're going to get over here. We have our overdrive feed circuit here, our hollow bolt. You can push on air on here. Right in here is your overdrive clutch. Actually, you can look down in here and see it moving a little bit right in there. See that there? Now we can come in here. You can hear your clutch there. See if I can get this off. I don't want to blow any oil on anybody. Yeah, it's gonna blow. I'm not gonna do it. So, but anyway, you got your intermediate clutch there. You got your loop circuit through there, or excuse me, your reverse circuit, your direct clutch circuit. You got your reverse band here. Oh!
Wow. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. So that's what he looks like.
That's what Teresa looks like.
Wow.
Sorry, guys.
So we're stopping the video. Oh my God.
Sorry. But anyway, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Maybe with a different camera person, though. Y'all stay tuned.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we're back. Got all cleaned up after the small bath that we took a little bit. Teresa, you still in?
Yours is small.
Teresa got it pretty good. She said the next time I grab the air hose, she's out of here. So no more air hoses, guys. So we'll test it when she's out of here. Well, we got our reverse servo. We tested it. Blew fluid all over Teresa, me, the wall, the shop, everywhere like that. So we'll get this thing the rest of the way apart.
That fluid does not taste good.
It doesn't taste good.
No.
Don't smell good neither. You want to look here for any wobbling in the pin, this clip missing, or anything like that. You can see it's starting to get a little bit of wear there. You want to look for that. Change your seals here. They're going to be rubber. They can be Teflon too. These are rubber. Another one here. Then we got our engine brake servo, band servo. Let me show you something. Grab this magnet real quick.
And people wonder why I don't get close to this.
Yeah, this stuff gets pretty messy sometimes if you can break out the air blower. We've got our check bolts here. Just remember, one does not go here. Looks like that you could put one there. Looks pretty good there too, doesn't it? Does not go there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 check bolts. We're going to get our hollow bolt here out of here. Now the shift kit, the Transgo kit, will come with a hardened steel black bolt with a washer. Takes an Allen wrench instead of a torque socket. It's a good upgrade. And then we're going to get our center support bolt. It's a hollow bolt too. Now the 400 bolt is a little bit shorter. You do not want to mix them up. 480 takes a long one, 400 takes a short one. Let me see what I do with that hammer, Teresa. Ah, in front of my eyes. I'm still thinking about the fluid that hit you.
Yeah, you
It was funny, guys, let me tell you. She looked at me like I was in trouble. I was in trouble.
Because they would have been way worse, I can tell you.
Yeah, we're going to get our lockup O-ring off here. It's hard as a rock. And this has got bonded pistons and stuff in it. All the pistons are probably going to be really hard. And that's why this tranny's starting to heat up and have issues and stuff. So. So you always want to double seal your bolts. Even though you put a new O-ring on here, guys, you see oil come out from around that bolt right there and this one. So don't always rely on one seal to keep that from leaking. Always put a new seal, put a little silicone around it, tighten it down. That way you doubled your chances of that thing never leaking. So. Now these things got massive pumps in them. You can see this little metal tab here. It goes down this hole right here. I'm not sure what it's for. It looks like it's a guide for some reason. I've never really looked it up to see what it's called or anything. Some of them have them, some of them don't. The early design doesn't even have it. So the late design, if it takes it, put it back. You want to come in and look at your pump stator assembly. You want to make sure this mark is through here. This tells you here it's a rear lube style pump. Now the pumps we buy are universal. They'll come with a little kit. You can change out a valve and plug right here. You pull this sleeve out, put a different valve or something in here. That way you can put it in either a front lube or a rear lube. So. Pump looks like it's been riding pretty good. See here, we're starting to get a little wear on the inside.
Yep.
I say these things are massive pumps for a tranny. How wide that gear is. You can see here, see how the bluing's starting to go away. It's kind of weird how they'll cock and wear on one side. Come on this side, anymore at all because that's not the torque side. This is the load side here. So gears only turn one direction unless the motor runs backwards. It's on, and I don't think that's going to happen. So then you want to look here too for any wear around here. Look for your bushing. See if the motor's setting low. Start to see a little brass, but there's no deep indentation where it dug a rut where it's just brass from here to here. We got a pretty equal wear all the way around on the bushing, so that's a good plus there because now we know the motor, crankshaft, the bearings are probably good. Crank's setting up high in the motor where it's supposed to be. So. Now this is our Overdrive Planet. It's our input shaft. We have 2 rings here, 2 rings here. For any bushing wear. Now this is a later version. We have the small sprag in it like I was showing you in my earlier videos. Instead of the great big old massive roller looking clutch, it's got the little tiny one. Scotch-Brite your friend through here. Looks really good. Looks good here. These drums right here, we changed a ton of these out because of this little sun gear right here. We'll look at the clutch first, see what it looks like. Looks really good. But we're going to come in here and look on this one side of this sun gear right here. This is the load side. This is the coast side. So these things are just bad about wearing. You can see how hard the print is. It's going to have a new one no matter what. 90% of the time, every one of them get a new one on this part here. So you don't really so much see wear on these gears here. You want to look for it, but it's mainly on the sun gear itself, the pitting and stuff like that. So. And we get our overdrive clutch. It looks pretty decent. Just age. So this tranny's probably failing from hard seals and stuff like that. Now I took this apart on my last video. I talked about how easy it is to put it back together. I got better doing it and all that type of stuff. Well, it took me 30 minutes to get that last one back together for some reason. It was like... But you have 2 seals, one here and one down in here. And let me tell you guys, try to put that back together in your hand. Trying to work it with a knife all the way around, this way all around, trying to get it to pop back together. It is a job. Any tranny builder will tell you, it's an art, but once you figure it out, it's kind of easy. We have our forward clutch here. Same way, you want to look at this ring gear on both sides. Look for any pitting on both these teeth here. This bushing is real bad about wearing. When this bushing wears, it lets this input shaft rub. Just start rubbing right down in here where these seals run, right here and right here. So you always want to look at that really, really close. Get our forward clutch. See if we got a good hub. Got a nice little ring to it. So even though it's a good one, you want to look here for wear. See if there's a lip right here. You can see that's already got quite a bit of wear in it, so it'll have to be replaced. This side looks a little bit better, but this side here is wore out really bad. And it's crazy, you wouldn't think a plastic washer could wear that like that. Or excuse me, that ain't the right one. The metal one. Grabbed the wrong one. But still, you wouldn't think that would wear that like that. And this our rest of our forward clutches. They're really thin, almost no material on them. Pull this bonded piston out real quick. Come over here, Teresa. Now if you notice here, the snap ring is behind these little lands right here. But if you notice the opening of the snap ring, they got it in this land right here. Anytime you put these in, you want to put this opening of this snap ring in the middle of these. That way it has a lot less chance of ever coming out. And we're going to come and grab their pistons and see what they look like, see if they're really soft. I mean, they're soft, but they don't have much outer lip, like, you know, it ain't standing out. They're pretty much drew in. And with this one here, you want to look at this one here. This one's really hard. You can take this ring off. The kit will come with a new one. You can press it on there. So. Then we're going to get our high reverse clutch here. You can see that's a standard clutch there. This is what an Allison clutch looks like. That'll go back in here. You can see the difference in them. Even so, just a lot better clutch. Go over here and look at our sprag assembly. Now this is a spiral washer here, or spiral ring. See, that is why it's designed not to come off. These are bad about the early design, just having a regular snap ring, they just open up and fly off. So, you want to look right through here for any chatter marks or anything like that. Scotch Brite that up really good in here where your rings run and on your sprag inner race right there. And then, now you notice this one here, let's see which way it turns, spins to the right. Don't put it in where it spins to the left because that sprag will go in either direction. I have a chart that tells me sprag directions in there on the wall that you always want to look at. I try to remember them all, but it's hard to do that. So. And it does have a wide band. A 400 band will fit in these two. That was the first design. And then they went to the wider band. And then the 4L80E went to a 4-clutch intermediate. And then they have a wave down here at the bottom. So, be all thin steels, thin clutches. Now we can put this whole kit right here in a 400 transmission, and that's basically how we do it. Then we change this race right here to a wide race, that way it accepts the 4th clutch. So that's how we do that. Not everybody puts these snap rings back in the same direction, so some of them you fight. I never put my snap ring opening in here, and that's how they did it. If I'm going to put my snap ring opening, it's going to be over here. I'm going to have me a full snap ring through here. I never put the opening in there like that. The ends will break off. You'll break this lands off right through here, and these are bad about breaking off. So if you get a couple of them broke off, now you got a bad case. So 480E cases are not cheap. Get all this stuff laid out here so I can kind of show you. And we have our center support here. Here's our lube circuit right here that the cooler line comes into. That tube I was showing you hooks into here. That way it lubes all your planetaries and stuff like that. We actually have different bushings in the rear lube circuit. These bushings have grooves in them just for the lubrication oil to move forwards and backwards through the tranny. So if you put a solid bushing in here, you just cut off lubrication circuit going forward. So that's why they are in there. Now you can see these bushings are pretty wore out. But the new kit does come with new bushings. Now some of our bushing kits will come with both sets. So that's what I'm telling you, don't get them mixed up and put the wrong bushing. You put the wrong bushing just in one end and put the right one in the other end, you made a big mistake. So it's not something you want to do. Same way here on this reverse drum, your band goes around this. These pins are bad about walking out, and what they do is they start cutting this plastic washer right here. So we make sure they're not coming out, but we still go in here and TIG weld them on the back side and keep them from walking. That's a big problem. Now this sprag has legs on it. See that right there? Now some of the sprags, the earlier design looks like this. It has no legs. Okay. If you have a sprag that has no legs, it'll have a retainer sitting in here that holds that sprag up. If you have a sprag that has legs, this will have, it'll be hollow in here. It will not have a retainer to hold it up. So.
Got some parts there.
Yep. We have a brass washer that goes in here. Now this is a selective washer to set your clearance in the back. Your washer kit that we buy comes with got hundreds of them over there because you don't always use the ones that come in the kit. So. We have our snap ring that sets in the case the support sets on. Thin, wiry looking thing. We have our reverse band. Starting to get really thin. We get in here and look at our sun gear. These guys right here are getting hard to get. And normally, like I say, this has a load side and a non-load side, kind of on and off the gas. So you can see the load side here in first gear. The print on it's really hard. You'll see the gear starting to fade away through here. You see the hardness coming off. I just got 4 new ones in here a couple days ago because these things are getting hard. Now this is a special one. It's a 4-tab. This is because it's a rear lube. The oil lube has to come through these slots to get to the front of the tranny. If you put this one in there, a 2-hole, you made a big mistake because this thing will fit in there. If you grab this, excuse me, it won't go on this one here. But if you grab this piece here that fits in here and you stick it in there, you caused a big problem. Swapping parts is the #1 killer, so just remember that, guys. So when you have to go get something, it better look just like what you need. Thought I had some wear, but looks really good. Scotch-Brite this up. This is where your rear case bushing runs, so Scotch-Brite that up really good. Same way here, Scotch-Brite this up really good. Now this is a special bearing right here. See them notches in there? That's because it's a rear lube tranny. If you put a race in here that's a solid race out of a 400 or early design, you just cut off lube circulation going to this hole, and you cut off lube circulation going to this bearing and this bushing back here. So messing with this tranny here, swapping stuff around from early to late, you can get in really big trouble with the lubrication circuit on this tranny. So basically the tranny is the same, but the lubrication circuit, so that's what you really want to concentrate on when you're playing with this thing. Planet looks really good on the back. Just look at your teeth, make sure your thrust washers ain't wore out. Same way here on this ring gear. Look at your power side, your coast side, load side. all the way around. Look here where your park mechanism locks on. We see a lot of them stripping right here where it rattles. When you put it in park, it jumps like that. So that's a common problem. So pretty cool training, not too bad. Be a pretty easy build for us. Put all of our good parts in it, our Sonex parts, our Transgo parts. Really makes these units nice. So Teresa, I want to thank you for staying around for the second video. I know you took a bath in the earlier one, but
Calling in sick tomorrow.
she's calling in sick tomorrow, guys. Dang it. We have to get Trent in here. But hey, we appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We got a ton more coming. We got the Dirty Bird training out. We're going to tear it down, go through it real quick. We got another FLD. We got all kinds of work going. So y'all stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. Y'all have a wonderful day.